But assuming the Bengals go with Burrow #1, do you think the Redskins should go with Tua at 2, even though they have Dwayne Haskins on the roster?
Yeah, I do, and I was a big proponent of drafting Haskins. You know, I really was a Haskins booster last year. I loved what I saw at Ohio State. He did not play well. Look, I know he's very young. I know quarterbacks, once upon a time, it took him a while to get going. He didn't play well this year. Yes, he played a little better as the season went on. He was not prepared properly by the franchise. But based on what I've seen from Haskins, I think he may be a successful NFL quarterback. That remains to be seen. The odds that he turns into a great NFL quarterback, if you had to handicap it right now, don't look terrific. But could he be an NFL player? Yeah, I do think so. I think he could even maybe develop into a franchise quarterback. It's possible. If Tua is healthy, I'm confident he's going to be an excellent quarterback. I'm confident about that. I think most people are. The real question is the durability and the health. But I think once you know that about the talent, the mental makeup, all those things, ability to handle pressure, the accuracy, reading defenses, the ability to make off-schedule plays, even to use mobility in the right way, the whole thing. Once you know all that stuff about a guy, or you think you do, I think you can't pass him up if you don't know that you have a great quarterback. So maybe I'm being a prisoner of the moment. I know Chase Young is an amazing talent, but I don't think that Washington knows they have an excellent franchise quarterback, and I think for that reason you can't pass up on Tua.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, I've been told that the Washington Redskins are not going to touch Tua because they're going after Chase Young. That's what Daniel Snyder wants them to do, and they're not drafting a quarterback. That's what I've been told. So we'll see. So we'll see what happens. That's what I reported weeks ago. That's number one. Number two, in terms of the individual in your household, Molly, I'd like to remind that particular person that the Detroit Lions have only made the playoffs 3 times this millennium. A matter of fact, they've made the playoffs 8 times since 1991, which is the last time they won a playoff game.
Time for a new day,
okay,
Stephen
and so the reality of the situation is it's not about the quarterback. It's about organization from the top on down with the Detroit Lions. They've just been moribund, period. A quarterback ain't going to come and save the franchise. The franchise, in all likelihood, will contaminate the quarterback because Matthew Stafford ain't that bad. Number 3, here's the reality of the situation. The Redskins should not consider Tua, and here's why. Because of the durability issue. You can't have a question mark at the quarterback position due to talent, then bring in an additional question mark because of durability in arguably the most violent sport that we know, or at least second to the UFC and maybe boxing. This is what it is in the National Football League. It's highly physical. It's very, very violent. And if durability is a question mark, you can't have a question mark at the quarterback position and bring in another question mark at the expense of passing up a stud pass rusher, which is the second most biggest need in the National Football League in this day and age. If you talk to football people, they'll sit up there and tell you what's the number 1 thing you're after, a quarterback. What's the number 2 thing you're after, a pass rusher. Well, Chase Young is a pass rusher. He's the elite pass rusher in this upcoming draft. You've got the chance to get him with the number 2 overall pick. Could you imagine if they pass up on him and grab Tua and then Haskins doesn't pan out and Tua gets hurt early? That would be problematic for you. You don't want that, especially when the last time you did it, you drafted RG3, which wasn't a bad pick by any stretch of the imagination, but his leg almost got amputated by Haloti Ngata with that hit, and he was never the same in his career again. You simply can't take that chance by passing up somebody like Chase Young.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Stephen A., as far as Chase Young is concerned. And let's not forget, I don't even understand really why we're having this conversation. If you're Daniel Snyder, and by all accounts, he was in charge of the draft last year when they decided to draft Dwayne Haskins, and they took him in the first round. And we know what happened with Jay Gruden and the staff. They didn't want Dwayne Haskins, so therefore they didn't bring him along, the nurturing, the coaching. We get all that. They're gone. Okay, but the owner is still there. And I got to think that the owner, when he met with head coach now Ron Rivera, told him, hey, this is the guy that I put my word down on, that I wanted as my quarterback. This is the guy who we're going to move forward with. So why would we come back a year later and draft Tua Tagovailoa at number 2? whatever happened in this country to drafting a guy, taking somebody who's young and developing them and nurturing them and seeing what you have at a certain point. Too many times in this country, we want everything to be 100% perfect right now. That's not how it is. I came up in a draft where Rich McKay, Tony Dungy, they drafted and developed their team. You're not going to find instant success, ready-made success. Sometimes you got to take your time and nurture a guy and coach him up and bring him along. Too many times now, coaches, front office execs, too many people, they don't want to do their damn job and develop people and coach them up and get them to a point. We want it instant. It's not going to happen. So taking Tua at number 2, to me, this is not even a question. You have Dwayne Haskins, you take Chase Young at number 2, and now you can start to build a team. That's been the problem in Washington for way too long. They want instant success. Remember back in the day when they went out and signed Deion Sanders and all these free agents? You can't buy a team. At some point, you got to draft and develop and coach and nurture people. That's the problem in this country right now. We want everything so damn fast, and we don't want to take our time and develop it. And hopefully, I say hopefully,
Booger, I agree
Washington
with you.
Will do it the right way and draft and develop.
I agree with you on principle, in theory, draft and develop. Here's what I have to say about why I would take Tua were I Washington. They took Haskins, 17th last year? It's a mid-first round pick, and you don't know where you're going to be in the draft the following year, who's going to be available, all those things. But if they're now in a position that they couldn't have anticipated, where they have a chance to get a better quarterback, if you think he will be a better quarterback, or a more sure thing as a real high-end quarterback, I don't think you can pass it up. And I'll tell you what's changed. We say, what's changed in this country? Boog, every generation blames the new generation. Every generation blames the new generation for wanting the microwave, for wanting everything faster. But what we found is this. The rookie contract for the quarterback is where you can win.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.